delicious. Good afternoon, it is Saturday, the 11th. You join me in the office space just while we run through everything. The office, the study, whatever you want to call it. We'll say office, I'm not a Tory. But we'll run through everything. So, how's progress going? Is that what you asked? Cheers. It's going well. We're going in the right direction. Still dieting, obviously, on the run up to the holiday, which is in August. So it's currently July, so I've got about 4 weeks. Scale weight's dropping. I'm getting slightly leaner. I'm not, the goal is to not go away. I'm not going to weigh shredded. I was never going to do that. That wasn't the aim. It wasn't going to be like stage lean, because I'm not stepping on stage, mate. I'm going to Ben on the Dina. My biggest critic is going to be myself. And I had that asked about being, thick skin shredded. I'm not that bothered about that. But scale weight's coming down. We was at 182.5, then I went to 181.8 this week. So far, I'm averaging 179.9. So it's coming down, do you know what I mean? Calories aren't too low. We're averaging around about 2,200 across the board. Proteins at 200. Carbs are in a good spot. Still able to maintain training. Training's progressing, mate. Training's probably been at the best it's been for quite some time, where the heat, everything like that, we've actually reduced a little bit of cardio just as a result of the heat, because it's causing a little bit of scale weight discrepancies. It's jumping all over the place, so I've just pulled cardio down a little bit. We're now only at 120 minutes a week rather than 195. Steps are still at 14k across the board is what we're aiming for on average, but everything feels pretty good. Like, it's not, I don't feel like I'm dying. I'm not on my ass. I could probably go a bit more aggressive, but there's no point. Like, there's literally no point. I ain't that bothered about going away lean. When I come back, it's a case of reassessing and then probably going back into a growth phase once body composition's in a good spot, which, we're not in a rush to do. But this morning I've been to play paddle. So I was fasted as I played paddle, mate, which is great. I boxed off just shy of 8,000 steps. We had the court for an hour, but no one turned up, so we did an hour and 15. Just ran ourselves ragged. So steps are through the roof. No cardio today, just on rest day calories. First meal was a pint of Victoria Malaga. There you go, mate. If you're dieting, you can still actually have a little bit of a social life. I know most people aren't going out for one pint, mate. I know that's a little bit of an anomaly. England are playing tonight as well, and I'm not out, because I'm boring and I'm training tomorrow morning, so I just, don't really fancy a drink, to be honest. I'm having a Pepsi Max Cherry instead. But yeah, I had a pint of Victoria Malaga for meal one. 250 calories-ish. It's fine. It's tracked. That's all you need to do. You can still go out and enjoy yourself. You don't have to be taking out your Tupperware. If you are going out on a social occasion, that is fine. Just plan ahead. Learn how to track calories. You'll be in a really good spot. It gives you a lot more freedom than you think. People think of like tracking calories as restriction. It's not. Having the knowledge to do it is a lot more freeing, because you know that you're not going to overeat. You don't have to restrict too much. I had one pan. If I didn't know what I was tracking, if I didn't know what that looked like from a calorie standpoint, I'd potentially pull a full meal for one pan. I've just removed 250 calories from the day. That means I've not had a biscuit with my ice cream. That's fine. I'm not that bothered. I missed the biscuit later on, right? But it's fine. But yeah, you can do it. There's obviously going to be a degree of sacrifice that you need. I had this conversation with a client in the week who is really struggling with cravings and things like that he just wanted to go out and start scranning. That food that you are craving, or that drink, or whatever that you are craving, it's going to be there when your diet's done. They're not going to suddenly outlaw chocolate to the point where you're never going to be able to eat it again. It's going to be there. Like, there's going to be a degree of sacrifice needed, but you don't have to be a robot. You can still make things work within your calories. Obviously, when your calories aren't in as harsh a restriction as they probably are during your dieting phases, most people do end up having to go quite low with calories. So if you do end up having to keep pulling down, especially most people that are natural and not, slamming loads of gear, but you do have to usually go a little bit lower. So when your calories are restricted, you are going to have to sacrifice a little bit of the foods that you crave, but they're still going to be there when you're done. So it's not the end of the world. You can just go back and scran it when your diet's done. You'll have better calories and you'll be able to fit it in a little bit easier. But yeah, they're not going to outlaw anything. You're going to be sound. You're going to be okay. But that's about it, really. Nothing else really going on. I've recorded lower 2. So I trained lower 2 yesterday at Ultraflex in... It was about 32 degrees within the actual gym itself. Outside, it was about 29, 30. It's boiling. It's overcast today, as you can see by the lighting, which I'm not always this. I look a lot more tan than I actually am. I might change that when I look back on it, though. But yeah, it was about 30 degrees in the gym. It was a heavy hit. It was lower 2, so the training split has changed. We're doing 2 on, 1 off at the minute. I had a bit of a meltdown about that, because apparently one of the days, like third week, I'll only be doing 4 days, because it'll be rest day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday training, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday training. It's not that, one of the days it ends up I'm only training 4, but I just overthought it. I spoke to Luke about it and he said I feel like I'm talking to the Riddler, so I've just forgot about it and just hope that it never happens. But it'll be fine, mate. It's literally not the end of the world. But training-wise yesterday, it was a heavy hitter, given that it was warm as well. So it started off, we had 4 sets of a seated calf press. Now, with this one, all I'm thinking about doing is pulling that toe up towards my shin to try and get as much stretch as I can. When you're in a seated position, it's going to bias a little bit more of the soleus muscle because of the knee flexion. This is a very boring anatomy lesson. But when the knee is in a bent position, it's going to bias the soleus a little bit more. When you're standing, it's going to bias your gastroc, which is the bit that you can actually feel. The soleus it sits quite deep to the actual leg itself. Not that it makes the biggest world of difference, but it's just nice to know from an anatomy. If you were doing like a recovery thing, if you had a strain in soleus sort of thing, it might be nice to know. Or you might just, not give a shit, but I've told you anyway. Then I've got 3 sets of 2 sets at 6 to 10, 1 at 12 to 15 on a seated leg curl. So taking a very slight pause in the lengthened. With this one, I have got pretty good flexibility within pretty good flexibility all in all, really. Bit of a gymnast, if I do say so myself. So when I do get to that top position, I do end up sort of tapping, the weight touches, I dead stop it a little bit. I'm not meaning to, I'm trying not to as best I can, just keeping tension on the hamstrings all the way through. But I'm thinking about pushing my soles of my shoes away from me to get the full stretch through my hamstring. Slight pause in that lengthened position and then a slight pause in that shortened position as well. And just taking every set to failure. You should see them last few concentric reps, I was right, start to slow down involuntarily. Don't slow them down on purpose, obviously push yourself to the point of failure. Then we're going into a big movement, mate, big RDLs. So I'm at 160 on these at the minute. We're working at 2 sets of 5 to 8 on this one, really focusing on a bit of a grip and rip, driving the hips back as far as I can. I'm not trying to go through excuse me, not trying to go through a massive degree of knee flexion. I just want it to be coming from the hip travelling backwards, taking a slight pause in the bottom position and then just standing up. Think hips back, hips forward, trying to keep that lower back as solid as possible. Your torso should only move as a result of your hips driving back. So it's not a case of thinking about the hips dropping forward or the torso dropping forward. They move because your hips move. Keep that bar dragged against you, actively pull the bar against your chest. Then we're going into another heavy hitter, mate. 3 heavy hitters back to back. So we've got the RDL, then I'm going into a pendulum. This is at 2 sets of 5 to 8. With a pendulum, it's obviously on a pendulum, mate. It follows the actual strength profile of the quads quite well, but it is very, very heavy in that lengthened position at the bottom. So all I'm doing is taking a slight pause, trying to avoid a knee knock. If you bounce out of that bottom position, you're more likely to see your knees knocking, going into a little bit of what's called knee valgus, which isn't great for joint alignment. It's going to piss your joints off over time. So take your time in that lengthened position. Nice and slow on the way down, slight pause, big brace, imagine you're about to get punched in the stomach, and then reverse action cue, drive your feet into the pad. Probably had another rep in me there if I'm being completely honest, but it felt really warm and I felt like my head was going to blow off. And then the third heavy hitter, I haven't edited this video very well, so it's just going to be me walking towards it, but the third heavy hitter is the what's it called? The Gymleco horizontal hip press. So with this one, I'm trying to get, again, as much knee flexion as possible, so I'm putting my feet as low down the pad as I can. Luke, really, my coach, when I've sent him this before, he can get his heels off the bottom of the pad. Mental. I tried it. I thought my knee was going to fly off. I just can't do it. But my knee is going to my chest. Like, I'm introducing my knee to my chest, which is all I'm going for. I've got full range and I'm not worried about my heel lifting. Like, I'm able to still push through my heel, my midfoot and my big toe, and I've got good control of the movements. I ain't worried about pulling it down any further. I have tried, but I'm just not getting there, mate. The difficulty with this machine is where this actual brace point is. Like, you're pulling yourself into it, but your hips still lift away. I feel like it'd be nice if they had one that just sat underneath the pad that you could pull yourself down into, like a leg extension sort of arm. That'd be nice. But on this one, we are at 2 sets of 6 to 10. So again, slight pause in that lengthened, slight pause at the top as well, pushing myself to failure so the concentric tempo slows down involuntarily. Then we're going into, took it out of me that one, clearly, like I'm about to cry. Then we're going into 2 sets of 8 to 12 on a prime leg extension, loading the mid, so standardising that mid pin with a 20 kilo plate, and then the top plate is where I'm loading it. I think I'm working at 100 kilo, so it's not, for some reason, it's just me stepping out of a leg press at the minute. Again, not edited very well, is it? But I don't think I've edited any of these videos very well, by the looks of it, like I've just rammed them all together. But we've got a I'm using a seat belt for added stability. So because when the leg extension does get heavier, your hips tend to shift up from obviously rec fem crosses at the hip. We want to try and bias that in the short, which is going to, well, bias it in the lengthen, sorry. If your hips are lifting, you're not going to be able to fully lengthen the rectus femoris or the quad muscle basically. So yeah, standardising the 20 kilo plate on the mid pin, 4 20 plates across the top. And then I think we're working at around about 8 to 12, well, no, I know I am. I'm working at 8 to 12 reps on this one. It's thrown me off because I ain't edited very well. So I'm just a little bit all over. I'm just trying to think about things to talk about. Wear a necklace as well. It's the only thing I can point out from the video. But all I'm doing is pulling that seatbelt as tight as I can to stop the hips from shifting, pull myself down into a chair as hard as I can, and then we are driving my shin to the roof as hard as I can. On this one of the massively overlooked things, something that I've been working with my clients as well, because a lot of them, when they do start with me, so some of them will have previous training experience, but some of the stuff that tends to go wrong, especially on little things like a leg extension, is just joint alignment. The feet will be like at the bottom, but then the knees will be out. Like, there's not a straight line from the top from hip, knee and ankle. It's going to really piss your joints off over time. So make sure that when you are in that top position, ankle, knee and hip are all in a straight line. Take a very slight pause in this lengthened position just as the heel comes under the seat, and then a very slight pause in that top position as well. Think about flattening your hamstring. Reverse action cue on everything is going to be really beneficial for you to make sure that you're standardising your form over a prolonged period of time. So driving the hamstring down into the chair as hard as you can, and then of course pushing your set as close to failure. Close proximity to failure. Training split doesn't matter. None of it really matters all that much in terms of, obviously, frequency is going to be something that's going to be very important for you. But if you are not pushing your sets within close proximity to failure with accuracy and intensity, you are not going to see progression. You're not going to see yourself grow. You need to give your body a reason to cause adaptation. You are trying to force adaptation when you are training. Every time you are training, you're trying to create an adaptation through muscle gain. That doesn't come easy. It's not going to work if you just piss about with it and just mess about with a set. I'm going to stop going on this one because I've clearly not edited the last 2 videos at all. But then I've got 3 sets at 6 to 10 on an adductor. Just as little foot pressure as possible, driving the knee in as hard as I can, thinking about taking a pause in that short position and a pause in the lengthened position as well. And that's it. We'll have a look at a couple of reps, see if I'm doing it right. But again, not edited very well. I've shaved my legs as well, so they look really, really pale. Not a good look. But that's about it from the training video. Not edited very well though, was it? But it's okay. I'll get the video out regardless. But that's it. Things are going well. Everything's ticking over. I've had a pan for meal 1, as mentioned. I've just enjoyed a yogurt bowl, 450 grams of far here, 5%, and 100 grams of frozen raspberries, 20 grams of whey, and that was it. I've got another protein fat meal to go down soon, but I'll give that a bit of time. It's 2:30. I've just had my first meal because I was busy in the morning. If you want to try and have a successful fat loss phase without feeling starving all the time, make yourself busy in the morning, push your first meal back as far as you can. Jobs are good. I'll have another one at about 3:30 probably, because I'm really not hungry yet. I might go for a little wander, take the dog out, something like that. But that's it. I'll get this uploaded again for all 27 people to not watch. Don't know why I'm being negative about it, mate. I enjoy doing it to an extent. Hey, who knows? One day it might fly through the roof. Maybe. Catch you in a bit.